How to make childcare cheaper and more convenient for working parents. The government says schools could be the answer, allowing nurseries to take toddlers as young as 2 and allowing parents to pay to leave them there longer.
We know that school nurseries are very high quality, and so what we want to do is make sure more places are available in school nurseries, and also that school nurseries are operating more flexibly. We'd like them to open longer hours so parents can take chunks of 5 hours rather than just chunks of 3 hours, which doesn't necessarily fit with things like part-time work.
Ministers say it would create more places and bring costs down. Private nursery fees have risen by 20% in just 3 years. The average part-time cost is now £104, up from £87. Most parents would have to pay, but the government will make the first 15 hours free for the poorest families.
I think it's ideal for parents, especially like single parents, if they've got like 2-year-olds and, they need places like this.
He's here from about 9:30 till 6 normally, so yeah, if we had to pick him up at 3 o'clock every day or 3:30, that could be a problem.
It would get them into education quicker, and it's good for their progress and development.
But Labour says without any extra money, the idea is make-believe.
Primary schools at the moment are overflowing. There simply aren't enough places. We've got a shortfall of over 200,000 places already in primary schools. So where are these 2-year-olds going to go?
So where is the money going to come from to pay for the extra staff to allow these nurseries to remain open for longer?
Well, first of all, parents can top up what they're paying. So if they're getting the 15 hours from the government, they can pay for the additional hours. And that's
in a state nursery?
In a state nursery.
So you will be able to pay for a state nursery? That's semi-privatisation then?
It's not, and it already happens across the country.
More and more, the playground is becoming a political battleground over how to ease the pressure on cash-strapped families. Ben Chapman, ITV News.
Well, let's get some reaction then from Michael Freeston from the educational charity, the Preschool Learning Alliance. If we park the funding issues around this proposal, what's your reaction to it? Are schools the answer?
Well, I think the important factor here, and what I've seen from all of the announcements today, is it's focused on what's good for the schools, what's good for the parents. I think your point is absolutely right. What is good for the children? Are schools the appropriate place for 2-year-olds to extend their care, their learning and their development? And I think throughout all of this, we mustn't lose sight of the fact that that 2-year-olds are not small 3-year-olds. They're not large babies. It is a development phase of their own, and we must ensure that anything that is provided for them is age appropriate and suitable.
And is it age appropriate? Could they thrive, as one parent said, in that environment?
I would invite any parent or anybody else who no longer has a 2-year-old to go into a clothing store and to pick up a baby grow for a 2-year-old. They are tiny, and the consideration is a large school environment where you may have 3 form entry at primary age 5, is that large monolithic environment an appropriate place for schools? And I think that's a question that parents should ask themselves.
And in terms of the practicalities of this, if we move aside from whether it's right for a 2-year-old, have schools got space to actually create nurseries for a whole new swathe of youngsters?
It's an interesting position where this has come about. The department has been trying to work with nurseries in the private and voluntary sector for over a year now to create more spaces to extend provision down for 2-year-olds. The issue has always come about that many nurseries choose not to because the funding is not sufficient to meet those additional needs that 2-year-olds come with. So I would imagine the same would apply to any schools. Just because they have the physical space doesn't necessarily mean they have the skills, the number of staff, the availability to meet the care needs of 2-year-olds.
And on the issue of learning and progress, we are often told how the Scandinavian model gets it right because they don't begin official learning till much later, till 6, that kind of age. Is there any definitive research on this to say, yes, we should be teaching 2-year-olds to begin to learn to read and write, or no, we should be delaying it to much later?
Clearly not. All educational development psychology from Piaget onwards has shown that children up until about the age of 7 aren't developmentally able to take formal rote learning. They learn best through meta-environments, through communication, through play and through skill. Forcing them to take more formal approaches to education too early is not only unhelpful, it's a waste of time because their brains developmentally aren't in a position to engage with it.
A yes or no answer from all the expertise you've got in this field. Do you think this idea will ever actually happen?
No.
OK, Michael Freeston, thank you.